Hello, and welcome to Yoga with Spencer. Today's class is going to be a nice beginner class, no blocks, no straps required, not even a mat, but if you do have one, pop it on the floor, get cozy, and we'll get started. So we'll start by lying down on our back, of course the hardest posture of the day, so just get settled down on the mat. Now to begin, we're just going to close those eyes, place the hands on the belly, and we're going to bring our awareness towards the breath. So every inhalation and every exhalation that we do today, we're going to focus on using the nose only. So closing those eyes, settle into the practice, and deep breath, inhaling. Exhale. As we get deeper into the breath, we want to consciously slow them down. Thinking about 5 seconds inhaling and 5 seconds exhaling. Now with the breathing portion, feel free to pause the video right now and continue along on these breaths. Otherwise, we'll take 5 more deep breaths together and commence our practice. As we inhale, feel the belly lifting as our lungs and diaphragm fill with air. And as we exhale, just feel that belly pressing down to the floor. And you can even use those hands to exaggerate that sensation. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. So keeping that breath in mind, we're going to bring both of our feet up towards us, about 30 centimeters from our bottom and about 30 centimeters from each other. Both of those arms we're going to place down on the floor at about 90 degrees, and those palms are going to face the mat. So this is why that breath work was so important. Take a deep inhalation at the top. As you exhale, let both of those legs fold over to one side. The moment you need to inhale, we move back to the center, and as we exhale, we fold to the other side. So the slower the breaths, the slower the movements. We don't want to be starving ourselves of oxygen, so make sure the movement matches the breath and not the other way around. Now if you do want to get a little bit more movement through that spine, as the legs drop to one side, we're going to turn the head the opposite way. And then as the legs drop to the other side, we're going to turn the head the other way. Lovely. The more movement we can get through that spine, the better. And as we move through these stretches, we're aiming to feel the glutes, the lower and the middle back, particularly on the side that is extended. Now you may also feel some movements in those hips, a little bit of sensation through there. But wherever you are feeling it is exactly where you should. We'll come back into the center point, gently sliding both of those legs back down to the floor. We're going to bend our right knee, bring it up towards you, interlace your fingers and place it on top of that knee. So starting off, gently drawing that knee in towards us, holding in place. Now you've got a few different options here. You can just hold like so. You can gently move that leg from left side to right side, or you even have the option to draw some circular movements. Now as you do the circular movements, try and make sure the leg is relaxed. We want to have the arms guiding this movement. Few circles one way, few circles the other way, and then we're going to think about that ankle. So like we talked about, big circular movements. Think of drawing the biggest circle that you can with that big toe. Do a few circles one way, a few circles the other way as well. Lovely. Last but not least, we're going to release that leg, place the hands underneath the thigh. With the ankle, it's a little bit more spicy if you flex that foot, so let's give it a try. Take a deep breath, and as we exhale, just extending that right leg as much as we can. Should feel a nice big stretch down that thigh. Now your leg doesn't have to completely straighten, but the straighter it gets, the more of a sensation you are going to get. Now if you are able to completely extend that leg, then bring bring the hands a little bit higher, draw the leg closer towards the chest, and then working with that same extension. Now, it doesn't matter where you are, as long as the back of that leg is spicy, I'm happy. Awesome. So we'll do a few more times. Once again, inhale as we bend, then exhale as we enter the stretch. Lovely. After that, we're going to bend that knee, squeeze it into the tummy one more time, and we're going to place the right arm flat against the floor. Left hand is going to come on top of that thigh, turning the head to the right. Now take a deep breath, and as we exhale, we're going to keep the shoulder on the floor, but we're going to gently press this knee over to the side. Now, if you can't hit the floor, that is absolutely fine, but we should feel a nice big stretch through the glutes and the back. So find that breath, and like we talked about, as we exhale, we want to get in the habit of falling deeper into the stretch. So as we inhale, the body will lift up ever so slightly, and as we exhale, we consciously press that knee down to the floor. Deep breath, inhale, lift. Exhale, twisting and pushing on down. Lovely. So for me, I find the magic number is about 5. Now, of course, if there is a problem area or you just want to get a little bit more energy to those certain areas, there is no limit. You can do 10, 15, 1,000, maybe not 1,000, but you get the idea. On that last one, I always recommend holding in place. Bring that mind to the body. Feel the glute, feel the back, and breathe. Lovely. Let's try the other side. So return to the center, and we're going to send that right leg flat down to the floor. Left leg this time, we bend our knee, interlace the fingers, pop on top, and as you remember, we have those 3 different options. We can either pull the leg towards us, we can move from left side to right side, or we can add those circular movements. So whatever you pick, be happy with. Try and feel as much sensation through that left hip as possible. Once that hip is happy, we're going to think about that ankle. So a nice big circle. Try and draw as big of a circle as you can. You may hear some clicks and some pops, no problems. Just all of those bones and joints realigning themselves, hopefully. And then we're going to move to the hamstring stretch. So placing those legs under the thigh. The further away that knee is, the easier it's going to be. So just pick the level that is good for you. As I said, as long as that hamstring is spicy, you are doing it correctly. Deep breath here, and as we exhale, we push that leg a little bit straighter. Use the breath. Inhale. Exhale. And if you want it a little bit spicier, we pull that leg closer to the chest and exhale, straighten. Inhale, bending. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So a few times, and then we'll move into our side twist. So this time we're going to have the left arm against the floor, flat against the mat. Right hand on our thigh, and we're going to turn the head to the left side this time. Hi. And take a deep breath here. We're going to exhale, pulling that left leg over towards the right side. We inhale, lifting back up, and exhale back into that twist. So magic number 5, trying to get that leg as close to the floor as you can. Then on that last one, we'll send it across. We'll hold in place, get a nice stretch here. Last few moments, feeling the glutes, feeling that back, and gently back into the center. We're going to bring both of those legs up towards us, arms in 90-degree position, and just rocking those legs from left side to right side. Lovely. So our lower back, middle back, hips, knees, and ankles should be feeling a little bit more energized now. So we're going to move our way up and head into our next sequences. So roll your body over onto the side, lift yourself up, and we're going to be beginning in our child's pose. So we're going to sit ourselves on up, bringing your bottom as close to the heels as you can. Now, if you feel a bit of knee pressure, don't go any further. It's okay to hold with the bum lifted, but try to sit the heels against the bum, walk those arms out as far as you can, and resting the forehead on the mat. Now, deep breaths here, just as we worked before. In the nose, 5 seconds, and out the nose, 5 seconds. As we inhale, feel the lift of the body. As we exhale, feel the body collapse as the burden of gravity pushes us to the mat. One more deep breath. And we'll lift on up into our tabletop position. So just making sure the shoulder is directly over the wrist, the hip is directly over the knee. Now take a deep breath. We're going to find our cow position. So arching through the spine, looking up to the ceiling as much as you can, and then looking for our cat pose, the polar opposite. So rounding the body into this cat pose or the turtle shape. Inhale, head lifts, back arches. Exhale, head drops and back rounds. Inhaling, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more time, deep breath, inhaling and exhale. Lovely. We're going to go back to that neutral position. We're going to kick our right foot up behind us. Now with that back foot, do your best to keep the ankle flexed in that position. And we're thinking of the cow pose here. As we exhale, pointing the foot and bringing that knee as close to the forehead as we can. Inhale, reaching away. Exhale, squeezing together. Inhale, exhale. One last time. Inhaling and exhale. Lovely. We're going to shoot that right leg behind us. We're going to open our hip. So with that right foot, think of pushing that hip over the body and closing. Opening the hip and closing and opening the hip and closing. Here comes a little bit of a challenge for you. I want you to open that hip, exact same position. Feel nice and strong and shift your weight onto the left hand. Going to come onto the fingertips of the right, maybe 5, maybe 4, maybe 3, 2, 1. And if you can, we're going to extend that right arm to the sky, head looking up to the ceiling as well. And just find that balance. Nice small breaths here. Right hand returns back to the floor. We close that hip and return to tabletop. Other side, so once again, think of that cow pose. Left foot lifting up behind us. And as we exhale, we point the ankle and we draw that knee towards the forehead. Inhale, pushing away, looking to the sky. Exhale, rounding. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. We'll inhale and squeezing. Lovely. So push that left leg on back. We're going to work on that open hip position. So think of that left foot pushing up and over and just move in and out of this position. Now this is not necessarily what I would call an intuitive movement. So if it does feel a little bit weird, a little bit uncomfortable, fair enough. It takes a little bit of time to connect to those hips. Now when we're ready, we'll find that balance. So shifting the weight onto the right hand, fingertips to the floor, maybe 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we can release that left arm up to the sky. And balancing here, keeping that breath, keeping that control. And then we'll return that left hand to the floor. Closing those hips and back to tabletop. Now we're going to drop those forearms down to the floor and just gently slide those legs away from you. Focusing on our shoulders now, a little bit of thinking involved here. Talk to your shoulders and I want you to push them down and up. Down and up. Down and up. Now thinking about forwards and backwards. Forwards and backwards, forwards and backwards. Now we're going to combine all of those movements. So pull those shoulders backwards, push them down, push them forward, and push them up. And start to smooth that motion up. We're trying to get as much movement through our shoulders as we can. Be aware of the head. We want to keep our vision and our head nice and steady. So just find a spot in front of you and just stare at it. Awesome. So shoulders, we're going to pull them back and down, and we're going to keep them stationary. Now do your best to not move them, and we're going to rotate the head nice and slowly, looking over the right shoulder, looking down to the floor, looking over the left shoulder, and then up to the sky. So we'll start to smooth this motion out. If you do start to get a bit dizzy or suffer from vertigo, make sure you do one way and one the other way. Lovely. And now if there is a spot that feels particularly tender, feel free to just move through that one spot. And it will be different for everybody. Maybe it's this low position, maybe it's over the side, or maybe it's up to the sky. Just find that little bit of tension. And if there is no tension, if the entire neck feels good, then I'm jealous. Teach me your secrets. Fantastic. Once we are happy there, we're going to lower that body back down to the floor. We're going to place our left arm against the mat in a 90-degree position. Do your best to keep this left shoulder against the floor. Head is going to turn to the right side, right hand in a push-up position, and that right knee is going to bend. I know, a lot of instructions. Now, right foot is going to kick up and over the body. Use that right hand, and we're going to do our best to get that right foot to touch the floor. Moving out of this position, hips touch the floor, then exhale, stepping up and over. Inhale, exhale, one more time, and then we can get a little bit spicier. We push that foot across. The right arm, if we can, is going to reach up to the sky, and we're going to place it behind our lower back. Now lifting the head, look to the ceiling, and pull that right shoulder backwards behind you. So it should feel a nice big stretch through the back, and particularly through that chest and shoulder, if we are tight there. That looks good. Let's try the other side, and you'll get to see it from the other angle. So step right arm out to the side, left hand in that push-up position, left knee bending. Now take a deep breath. We're going to exhale, pushing left leg up and over the body. Now from this angle, you can see the foot stays flexed, and we're trying to step that left foot as close to our right hand as possible. Couple more times, we'll get that hold. And lucky last, send that left foot over. We're going to park it on the floor. You want a little bit more spice? We bring left arm behind our lower back and pull that shoulder backwards, looking up to the sky. Lovely. Gently release, unraveling back into that center point. Hands in that push-up position. We're going to lift the torso, lift the body, moving through our tabletop and sitting once again into our child's pose. Now slightly different this time. While you're sitting in that child's pose, let's walk both of the arms to one side. So if the arms are on the right, you should feel a stretch through the left side of the body. And then when our hands are over on the left side, we should feel a stretch through the right side of the body. Make your way back into the center. We're going to sit ourselves up into a tabletop position. You're going to step that left knee forward and sitting down into a seated position. Now we're going to bring both of those feet in towards us into what's called a butterfly position. The closer to your body, the spicier it's going to get. So if it's a bit tender, just keep those feet far away from you. And we're going to begin by grabbing a hold of those ankles and appropriately named butterfly, I want you to bounce them. Perfect. So there can be movement through the feet. Doesn't matter. All we're trying to feel are those hips. If it's a little bit easy, just bring those feet a little bit closer and then flapping like a butterfly, okay? The goal is to flap so fluidly, so quickly that you elevate. I'm still working on it, but if you get it, let me know. You also have the option to go left to right, just getting a bit of blood flow into those hips. Now, if you want a little bit more of a stretch, I know it gets worse. We can think of leaning the torso forward. So just showing from a side angle here, a nice flat back, holding onto the feet, and then gently pulling forward. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, we fall. Lovely. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale. Fantastic. Now, just facing you all again, we're going to put our hands behind us and we're going to bring our feet onto the floor about, like we did before, about 30 centimeters from each other and 30 centimeters from our bottom. From here, both of those legs are going to drop towards one side, just like what we began our class with, but this time we are seated. So left to right, using that breath. And this one will be less for the back and the glutes and a lot more for those hips. I'm sorry. Awesome. So last but definitely not least, we're going to come back to the center, find a seated position, extend one leg out in front of you, and pull that left leg in towards you. So a nice soft hamstring stretch. We haven't prepared too deeply, so don't go too crazy, especially if it is feeling a bit tight. So starting off, we're going to place the hands on the thigh. So over time, hands are going to walk further and further down that leg towards the ankle. Now, if you're very goal-oriented, I find it's very helpful to sort of set those internal goals. So think today, if we're starting at the knee, over the next few weeks, we're going to try and move that little bit further. And over time, we're just going to climb down that leg further and further until we can grab a hold of that foot and pull ourselves down to the floor. Lovely. Let's try the other side, and I'll turn sideways for you so you can see the different angles. So this time we'll have the left leg out straight. We're going to have the right foot parked against the inner left thigh, and same thing. Now just be aware one leg might be a little bit more mobile than the other. Typically the dominant side is normally a little bit more functional, so just be aware with what we are working with. So like we did before, hands on the thigh, and slowly walk those hands further and further and further, taking a mental note of where you are today, and over the next few weeks of practice, we'll try and get a little bit further. So, walking out, if we can, we grab that foot and draw ourselves down towards the mat. Lovely. We'll lift ourselves back on up. Extending both of those legs, we're going to bring those feet into our butterfly once we've laid down onto the floor. So just like we began, settling into the mat, bring both of those feet towards you and opening those knees into the butterfly. Palms facing up to the sky, shoulders flat against the mat, and I invite you to close your eyes for our closing Savasana. Deep breaths in the nose and out the nose. Now, the Savasana is just as important of a practice as all of the other postures. This is where not only the body, but also the mind can return to equilibrium, return to that rested state we began with before class. This is particularly important with our vinyasa or our more advanced sequences, but the Savasana will always provide benefits to all levels of practitioners. We have one more option with those arms if you want to get a bit more of a shoulder stretch. Instead of having them below 90 degrees, below shoulder height, we're going to just reach both of those arms overhead into a Y position. Now make sure you can stay completely relaxed for this one. Feel those arms pressing into the floor. If that feels okay, you can bring those arms slightly higher up. Just make sure we are relaxed and the body is flat on the floor. Now, if you are very comfortable, I would like you to stay in this position for about 5 to 10 minutes to really slow and settle down. If you do have to go and get out of here, then we'll roll over into a fetal position onto one of our sides. And we're going to make our way back on up into a seated position. Now with those eyes closed, hands to heart center, we'll finish our practice today with 3 deep breaths, and on that last breath, exhaling through the mouth and releasing any tension you've gathered throughout the week. We exhale, we open those eyes, and welcome back to class. Thank you so much for attending my first online class. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more free yoga content. Namaste.